Hello everyone and welcome to my new Let's Play. For those of you who didn't watch the introduction video, this is Hawkeye89 and this Let's Play is Star Wars Rogue Squadron for the Nintendo 64, as you might have seen by the title screen I've got up here. In any case, let's go ahead and get right started into this. For those of you who don't know me, personally I mean, I am quite a massive Star Wars geek. You can see my practice file there. I'm going to go over and switch over to a new file. And, let's see here. Alright. So, yeah, we're going to be playing this game 100%. I'm going to be doing all of the missions, bonus missions included. And I'm also going to be doing, you can see our first mission here, Ambush at Mos Eisley. I'm going to be doing 2 runs of every mission per episode day. Per episode, I suppose you could say. Basically what I'm going to be doing is posting 2 videos. One done with my live commentary over it, that's just going to be a basic run-through of each level, sort of explaining the level and everything like that. And then I'm also going to do a commentary-less video of each mission with getting the gold medals in... Well, just getting the gold medal. Because, obviously, each level has 4... each mission has 4 rewards that you can get, 4 levels of rewards. No medal, bronze, silver, and gold. Gold is the best you can get. You have to play a level through expertly to be able to get gold. And I don't really plan on getting any gold medals in any of the levels that I'm going to be doing with commentary. So instead I'm going to be posting a separate video for each mission with getting that gold medal without the commentary. So I hope you guys will enjoy the fact that you can see both versions of this instead of just the one that's not going to be frustrating me trying to get a gold medal while I'm doing live commentary. Instead, you're just going to get... The commentary is going to be pretty much in 3 parts. You're going to have 1/3 of it is me gushing over how much I love this game. 1/3 of it is going to be me yelling at this game because of how frustrating it can be in stages. And 1/3 of it is going to be me nerding you guys out with how much I know and love about Star Wars. So let's go ahead and jump right into this first level here. Ambush at Mos Eisley. You can see we have 3 craft here, but we can only choose 1, the X-Wing at the top. Let's go to our hangar and check out the different vehicles we can have in this game. Obviously, the first one is the X-Wing.
The Incom T-65 X-Wing is the fighter that killed the Death Star. An almost perfect balance of speed, maneuverability, and defensive shields makes this the fighter of choice for Rogue Squadron, except when the mission profile disallows it. In addition to 4 blaster cannons, the X-Wing can carry a number of proton torpedoes. It's powered by 4
Yeah, that's something I meant to do. I meant to turn the subtitles on. Let me go back and do that real quick. Because I want to be able to talk over what these guys are saying, because otherwise I'm not going to get to say much, because unlike probably 90% of the games on the N64, this game is actually fully voiced. Everything in this game... Okay, the subtitles are on. Good. So, let's see. Speech, sound effects. Let's turn... Music is okay. Sound effects is okay. Speech is okay. Okay. So we're good there. Yeah, all of the effects... All of the... What am I saying? All of the text in this game is fully voiced, even the mission briefings, which means that they're that much easier to skip if you've played a mission a dozen times over. Here, let me go back into the mission, and let me go around real quick, and I'll just introduce you to some of the craft. Basically, you obviously have the X-Wing. Over here you have the A-Wing, which is basically your light maneuverable craft. The X-Wing is basically the Mario of this game, well-rounded and everything like that. The A-Wing is your speed type. The fastest ship you're going to get. It's also the weakest, so you gotta be careful flying that. Your speeder is going to be for very certain missions. I'll explain that later when we get to that. The Y-Wing, you said the Millennium Falcon there, but we can't select that. So the Y-Wing here is your really slow type that has a really tough shielding and can pack quite a bit of a punch. I might post an extra video with the craft bios, because I can hear the guy talking in the back there. Here's the V-Wing. This is something that I'm not going to get into very much because this is a craft that we aren't going to be playing as during the regular game until the very end. So I'm not really going to be paying much attention to that, though it does not, it's obviously not from any of the movies, so don't feel bad if you don't recognize it. Then over here, we have the Naboo Starfighter, a craft that is actually an Easter egg in this game that you can only unlock in your game if you enter 2 extremely obscure passwords that I ended up finding on GameFAQs, like, way after I initially played through this game. So, yeah, if you played this game before and you never saw this, or you saw it unlocked and you didn't know how to unlock it, that's how. You have to enter 2 passwords, both of which are almost impossible to figure out without somebody else telling you what they are. So, yeah, this is actually the best ship in the game. It has the best stats, the best shields, its lasers fire insanely fast, and its torpedoes are homing torpedoes, even if you don't have the upgrade to actually turn them to homing torpedoes. So yeah, we're not going to be using that during our playthrough. Instead, we're just going to go to this first mission with our very basic X-Wing. And if you can't already tell, also, this game is some pretty darn good graphics for an N64 game. They put a lot of work into it. And, of course, every Star Wars thing that isn't that TV show that's going on right now starts with the title crawl. Now, while this is going on, I can explain a little bit about my history with Star Wars, and with this game in particular. I love Star Wars. I grew up watching the original trilogy on the old VHS tapes. And then I got this game. This is actually the first T game I ever played. And I love it to death. This is probably in my top 5 N64 games of all time. Right up there with Mario 64 and Donkey Kong 64. Yeah, and, you know, this is my favorite era of the Star Wars creation was the early 90s, before the prequels started getting hyped. Even this game, obviously the Naboo Starfighters from Episode 1, but the prequels kind of ruined Star Wars for me. They kind of made Star Wars, I don't want to say mainstream, but they made it, I don't really know how to describe it, but really the Star Wars that I love the most is the original trilogy. And half of the reason that I'm even Let's Playing this game right now is just to remind people of what Star Wars used to be and how great it used to be before the prequels started to roll around. And that there were some pretty darn good games that used to come out for this first in Star Wars licensing. Right now, most Star Wars games that come out are crap, but not back then. Not back in this day.
Good morning, Wedge. The rest of Rogue Squadron is still back at base, but I thought we could take an early morning run through Baker's Canyon.
So, story of Rogue Squadron. Obviously, Rogue Squadron is led by Luke Skywalker. One of the pilots in it is Wedge Antilles. You may, if you've seen Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Luke, you may recognize the name Rogue Squadron from that movie. This is our first mission. Very simple. You have some probe droids flying around in here that are terrorizing some of the populace, blowing up some moisture farms for no real reason. It's basically just a training mission to get you used to the flight controls. Obviously, the control stick is to steer your craft. B button in the default controls. B button is your attack, your basic attack, and then. Oh, we just lost a pilot. You're going to lose a pilot in this mission anyway. It's pretty much a given. For some people, there's some running around in there. Yeah, B button is your basic attack. You can fire your lasers. You can see we're firing them in sequence now. You can actually switch modes. You can fire them in pairs or all at once as well. But I really never seen the point of that unless you have a target that'll die, you know, in just 2 shots or 1 shot or whatever. You can see some skyhoppers flying around down there. There's the Sarlacc pit from the Return of the Jedi. I can press right C to close my S-foils and speed up, but I can't fire while they're closed. So you have to have them. You have to have them open in order to attack anything. These probe droids, very basic enemies. They die in 1 or 2 shots. or just by ramming them if you prefer. You can see my shield icon in the upper left corner there. It's orange now, which means I'm taking a bit of damage, not too much, but I'm in danger of losing, you know. Then also my health will slowly regenerate over time to turn back to green, as long as R2 is still on board and not dead. If you take a certain amount of damage, R2 will be destroyed, and then your health won't regenerate. Now they're attacking Mos Eisley, which is the town that you see at the very beginning of, well, not at the very beginning, but in Star Wars A New Hope, where they go to meet Han. And for some reason, they decided to bomb it with these TIE bombers here, which you see only in The Empire Strikes Back and a bit of Return of the Jedi. Basically, they're the Empire's heavy assault fighters, the Empire's version of Y-Wings, but they don't, like most TIE fighters, they actually don't have deflector shields, so they're really, really easy to destroy. You can ram them, since your ship has shields and theirs doesn't, or you can just shoot them down with a well-placed burst. And we're done! Easy level.
We did it! We saved Mos Eisley! Nice work, Rogue Squadron. We might make a name for ourselves after all.
And let's see what kind of medal we got, shall we? And I can explain a little bit more about the game mechanics before we end this episode off. Silver medal. So yeah, we were close to getting a gold medal, but not quite there. Let me check our results. So we just missed a few enemies there, 27 out of 31. And you might think, well, we got all the enemies, right? We shot down all the TIE bombers and we got all the probe droids. No, there are actually some hidden enemies that you have to track down to be able to destroy to get a gold medal. We actually finished that in a pretty good time, too. I thought I was dawdling on purpose to try to give myself more time to talk, but didn't do too badly there. Alright, so let me talk a little bit. Let me just linger on the screen for a little bit, and let me talk a bit about the game mechanics of this game, just a little bit more in depth. The basic flight controls, obviously, as I said before, control stick is to steer. You can hold down the R button to turn your craft, basically to do a barrel roll, but the rolling is very slow. There's very little reason to do that. You can press up C to change your view. You can press right C. Right C is actually your secondary fire. A is to speed up your craft, just like Z is to slow it down. You have 3 speeds: neutral, slow, and fast. Down C is to, I want to say that's switch, yeah, that's switch fire mode. So like, since I was using my X-Wing before, I could switch to firing 2 shots at a time instead of just 1, or firing all 4 lasers at once, instead of just firing them one after another in sequence. Yeah, and I don't think L or the control pad do anything in this game. In later Rogue Squadron games, the control pad would be used to command your wingmates, but in this game they just kind of fly around at random, which can be a bit of a pain if you have a mission where you need to shoot down a certain amount of enemies, and they shoot them down instead. But yeah. So anyway, this is actually going to be the end of this video, and I will add in an annotation that will take you to my recordings of my gold medal efforts at this level, in which I'll show you guys how to get the gold medal here, and all of the criteria you need to actually meet that. Okay? So I'll see you all on the next commentary field episode of Let's Play Star Wars Rogue Squadron. See you all then, folks. Good night.